Welcome to our kitchen. Today we prepare two ancient Roman recipes, perfect for summer. A fresh cucumber salad with shrimp cakes, called Isicia marina. We start with ingredients. We need shrimps, cucumbers, white wine vinegar, garum, honey, and the spices, black pepper, cumin, lovage, and asafoetida. And then pennyroyal. First, we start with the salad. We peel and slice the cucumbers. In the ancient world, people cultivated different varieties of cucurbits, and sometimes it is difficult to identify them precisely. Though cucumbers were not identical to the modern varieties, they were probably similar enough, according to the description provided by the ancient authors. Medieval images instead show cucumbers the same kind as ours. Pliny reports that cucumber was particularly appreciated by Emperor Tiberius, who had built a movable garden to keep his cucumbers exposed to the sun all day. Pliny describes many varieties of cucumbers, particularly abundant in Africa. In Italy they were green and small, in other provinces there were bigger ones, black or wax-colored. For the sauce to season the cucumbers, we need to grind a bit of black pepper. We also need a bit of asafoetida, both for this sauce and the spice mix for the shrimp cakes. We will grate the asafoetida on top while plating, but if you prefer, you can add it now in the mortar. Asafoetida is a very important ingredient for ancient Mediterranean cooking. It's a resin obtained from plants similar to fennel, with a pungent and intense flavor. For this reason, it's fundamental to use just a bit of it. Ancient populations knew two varieties of this spice, called silphium or laser, Laser cyrenaicum and Laser particum. The first one is no longer produced, whereas the second, called asafoetida, is still popular in some eastern countries. Then we mince and pound the pennyroyal. Pennyroyal is the only aromatic herb in this recipe, called puleum in Latin. It's common in historical Italian cuisine since ancient Rome, and it's still used traditionally in some regions with various names. Its flavor is very similar to mint, just stronger and a little bitter. It grows wild in many Italian regions, but it may be difficult to find. If you don't have pennyroyal, you can use mint instead, without substantial changes in the outcome. We add a bit of honey, garum, and white wine vinegar. The sauce needs to be well balanced to be good, so we suggest to add the ingredients a little at a time and taste the sauce to verify if it is too sweet, salty or acid. If you don't have garum, you can substitute it with a Southeast Asian fish sauce, produced in the same way as garum, or just add a pinch of salt. Now we prepare the shrimp cakes. We grind a bit of black pepper in the mortar and put it aside. We need it for the shrimp cakes. Ancient Romans had at disposal the most part of the eastern spices used in the following centuries, but they mainly use them to flavor wine and garum, or to make unguents and perfumes. Pepper instead was very popular in cuisine. We found it in the cookbook we used for this recipe, the Reco Quinaria, but also in other authors, for example Columella. Romans used 3 kinds of pepper: black, white and long. In this cookbook the author doesn't specify which kind to choose. We suggest black or white pepper. Now we clean the shrimps, then we pound them in the mortar. There's no need to pound the shrimps completely, but the more you pound them, the more the shrimp cakes will hold their shape while cooking. Some kinds of shrimp are more difficult than others to make cakes. If you notice that they don't keep their shape easily, add a beaten egg white or a bit of wheat starch. We add a bit of garum and black pepper, then we shape the shrimp cakes. The author doesn't describe the shape. We suggest making the shrimp cakes not too big and quite flat, because shrimps don't hold the shape as well as meat or other seafood. And if you make them too big and round, they can easily fall apart while cooking. The author uses the same name, Isicha, for both meatballs and seafood cakes. We prepared in the past both cuttlefish cakes and meatballs. You find the links to the videos in the description below. Now we prepare the spice mix that we sprinkle on the shrimp cakes. We grind black pepper, lovage and cumin. This mix can easily become very spicy, in particular if you use an excessive quantity of lovage. Lovage has a strong flavor, and it is fundamental using a very little quantity of it. It's one of the spices most used by the author of this recipe, whose seeds are quite popular in historical Italian cuisine, but today their use is quite rare. We cook the shrimp cakes on a slightly oiled griddle. We cook them for about 30 seconds for each side. We suggest avoiding to overcook the cakes to prevent them from falling apart. We plate sprinkling the spice mix on the shrimp cakes and drizzling the sauce on the cucumber. Then we grate a bit of asafoetida on both the shrimp cakes and cucumber salad. The flavors are spicy and incredibly good. The salad is fresh and intense, with a slightly sweet and sour aroma, enhanced by the minty aroma of pennyroyal, a great pairing with cucumbers. The shrimp cakes are spicy and fragrant while melting in your mouth, with a hint of garlic given by the asafoetida that makes the flavor layered and delicious. These delicious recipes are the perfect way to prepare a quick and flavorful main dish with seafood and vegetables, perfect for summer, with the typical Mediterranean aromas that characterize ancient Roman cuisine. If you're interested in ancient foods and flavors, or you're just looking for unusual and delicious recipes, please subscribe our channel.